Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. When Christmas time draws near, we all think of happiness, exchanging gifts, and the wonderful Christmas spirit. However, a long time ago, in Gloucester, Virginia, tragedy struck not far from Christmas. A young woman named Elizabeth fell in love with a handsome young Englishman. She wanted to marry this Englishman, but her father opposed. He thought the guy just wanted her money. So Elizabeth returned to the United States, to Gloucester, to a place called Church Hill. This was the name of the plantation house where she lived. As she sat and waited for her love to send letters, she never heard from him. The father was intercepting all the letters. Full of grief, young Elizabeth died of a broken heart. They buried her in November, right before the first snowfall. That night, as snow fell upon her grave, one of the servants came and dug up her coffin in hopes of stealing the jewelry that she was buried with. With ease, he took the necklace from her neck, but one of the rich rings was stuck on her finger. As the slave pulled and pulled at Elizabeth's finger, trying to get this fine piece of jewelry off, her frozen finger broke off with it. With this, Elizabeth started to stir. It turned out that she hadn't been dead, but only in a coma, and the breaking of her finger awoke her from her sleep. With blood dripping from her hand, half frozen, scantily clad in only a thin white dress, Elizabeth climbed from her grave and crawled through the garden to the door of the plantation house. With her last bit of strength, she clawed and scratched at the door. Her father, sitting by the fire, still mourning the death of his daughter, ignored the scratching, thinking that it was simply his hound dogs wanting to come inside. The next morning, when Elizabeth's father opened the door, he found her there, covered in snow, frozen to death on the doorstep. A trail of blood leading from her gravesite up to the door. It is said that Elizabeth's ghost still lingers at Church Hill. Upon the white blanket of the first fallen snow, visitors still claim to see red drops of blood leading from the gravesite up to the doorstep. It's also said that you can hear scratching at the door. Elizabeth's spirit still clawing, reaching for her life. One other anomaly is the abundance of violets that grow around the porch where Elizabeth fell to her death. Does her ghost still linger at Church Hill?